Welcome to Simple and Clean at Kingdom Hearts Podcast. I'm Mayanna, Berrin.
And I'm Mischa, Stanton.
And we're in the Pillow Fort.
We're back. We're constantly
back,
in this Pillow Fort.
We're constantly in this Pillow Fort. How much is your heart in the darkness today, Mischa?
My heart's like a little mired in it. It's creeping in at the edges.
Like the little tip of the heart is in like a dark pool.
Well, we don't need to knock where my tip is.
Okay, fair.
But I do think it's a really good place to be mentally to talk about Riku.
Yeah, I think we're going method for this one. I think we really captured the mood.
Yeah, we're talking about Riku today.
We're talking about Riku today. Second boy.
Second
of I like to refer to the different collections of threes as like the Holy Trinities.
Sure.
So second of the vanilla Holy Trinity, let's call it. Sora, Riku, and Kairi.
I think the Pope must love thinking about the vanilla Holy Trinity.
Well, this Pope, canonically, the Pope we currently have absolutely knows what Kingdom Hearts is.
Do you think the first American Pope played Kingdom Hearts?
He might have.
So let's talk about Riku. Sora's best friend from childhood.
And rival. I think Riku is Sora's best friend, but also his like foil in every way.
Sure. His rival in that way that anime protagonists have rivals.
Exactly
that define their journey towards
self-actualization or something. Yeah, like he's a year older than Sora. Riku's name means shore or land.
Right.
Against Sora's sky.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Kairi
is water.
Water, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that motif repeats in other trios
in
throughout
all of the trios, yes. Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. He is far more like competent in all of the things that Sora wants to be good at. Like Riku is faster. Riku is better at sword fighting. Mm-hmm. Riku is a little bit more suave, a little bit more mature. Yeah.
And a little more like willing to take risks.
Yes,
initially.
He is. Yes, he is. Absolutely.
In a way that signals like someone charging forward into adulthood while his friends are still children.
Riku's ambitious.
Yeah.
He's got big dreams, and those dreams are ignited by Kairi's existence. That Kairi comes from a different place, proves or reinvigorates Riku's desire to go and see other places and get off his stupid island that's dumb and has blue water and fish, you know?
Yeah.
He had it so good and he didn't even know it.
Destiny Islands, maybe it's just because, like, I haven't spent enough time going to the beach this summer, but man, Destiny Island seems like the place to be.
I know! Well, especially in Kingdom Hearts 2, when you get to see like what is, I guess, the residential island.
Right.
Because, and we'll talk about it more in our lore episode on Destiny Islands, but Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts 1 is like a treehouse for all the kids. They go there to hang out and hit each other with coconuts and beat each other with wooden swords. But there's a bigger, it's true.
It is. It's just a funny way to describe it, but you're right.
The bigger island where they all live is like lush, and there's like a school.
There's like houses and like a town.
Yeah, like Kairi's in a school uniform in Kingdom Hearts 2, which implies that there's a uniform school. There's an anime school just off in the distance, and they won't let me go to it. And yes, I did write fan fiction about what it was to attend that school. Of course I did. So I'll start with, I guess, like lore about me, which is that like I don't have a lot of fictional characters in my little pantheon, but I'd say Riku was one of those characters for me. And not even because of the games, but because of some fan fiction that I read. That was just great fan fiction, solid stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So, and I think fan fiction is so resonant because it's people recognizing like a character's archetype and then taking it to new places and trying to, but it's not always the same character because people
some people have weird interpretations,
right? But the fact that people are pulling this character means that they're trying to key into something about what they think that character is. So
100%.
So Mayanna, what of Riku's qualities puts him in that place for you?
I think Riku, to me, is a very classic boy flavor, which is like, he's mean to everybody except for you. Like one of those.
Sure.
And I don't know if that's actually accurate of his character, because I think Riku in the games, the actual text, he is very devoted to Sora and Kairi, but I don't know if that necessarily like translates to a meanness to other people. I think when he is sort of becoming his little dark moment in Kingdom Hearts 1, he becomes very sort of callous, but to like the adults.
Yeah, and people know I didn't quite get all the way through Kingdom Hearts 1, but I was brushing up for this particular episode. And I was looking back through it, and it's not that Riku ever really trusts the adults. It's just that, like, in a moment where everything was unstable and he was like, he dove into the deep end and found out very quickly how deep it was. He just felt betrayed that
Sora was
off gallivanting.
I don't even think it's that Riku doesn't trust the adults. I think that Riku is adultifying himself.
Well, sure.
I think he's seeing himself as the only person who's actually trying to get anything done.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, to the point about the Sora off gallivanting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like, I'm over here doing like science research.
Right.
And putting my body on the line for the darkness in service of finding Kairi's heart.
And Sora's hanging out with his duck.
And a bear in a book. It strikes me as too. It's the constant struggle, I think, between being fun parent and cop parent.
Yeah. Well, and then once he has that real fall to darkness and he comes back out of it, and he sort of spends most of the rest of the series, I would say, clawing back from the depths to which he falls in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
And I think through the rest of the series that like he doesn't lose that sense of responsibility, that there's a thing that needs to be done and Riku's kind of the one who's here to do it. But he does sort of forgive Sora for not living in that space 24/7 the way Riku feels like he has to.
100%. You know what else is striking to me in this moment is, it might also be because I'm the oldest of 3 siblings, but I'm seeing a birth order pattern thing happening between Riku, Sora, and Kairi.
Oh, that's so interesting. Are we both oldest children?
We're
Let's
both
talk
oldest
about this.
children.
Okay.
Yeah. So Riku is 100% oldest child coded.
Yeah.
Sora is 100% middle child coded, and Kairi is 100% youngest child coded, I would say.
Interesting. I mean, I definitely see like Riku, Sora, older brother, younger brother. I also see it a little bit developing into a romantic sense. We'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, we'll absolutely talk about that.
But I don't know if Kairi ever struck me as like a third sibling of theirs, so much more that like the two of them played around in the neighborhood and they sort of like picked up a third one and they're like the neighborhood kids.
That's fair. I don't know why, but one of the images that's so striking to me is that first sequence where Sora wakes up in Kingdom Hearts 1 on Destiny Islands, and then Kairi tells them to race.
Yeah.
And Riku's in the front and Sora's in the middle and Kairi's kind of bringing up the rear. Very cute. And that feels very youngest sibling to me.
Yeah, sure.
Like, but that and that's just one example. But I think like it's interesting. The 3 of them are this trio, but really it's Riku and Sora kind of driving the core tension in the relationships, because Kairi always has, for the most part, a soft spot in both of the boys' hearts.
Yeah.
Although it was interesting, I saw a really compelling X thread the other day that was like, they have this theory that in Kingdom Hearts 1, before Sora got to Destiny Islands that night where the world tears apart and they all get sucked into, space, that Kairi and Riku had a fight. And that's why they're in separate parts of the island. And Kairi was basically like, we shouldn't go tonight. And Riku was like, we should go tonight. And the argument they made was also like, because Kairi, the night before that sequence occurs, is, sitting on the deck with Sora and goes like, do you think Riku's like different? Do you think Riku's like changed? And Sora's like, I don't know what you mean. And she's like, well, what if we just like left just the two of us?
Right. So that's what I was going to ask about. So if Kairi's the one who doesn't want to leave, why does she? This is the Riku episode. We're not even talking about the right thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Why does she say, hey, Sora, let's you and me go?
I think because she's afraid of Riku.
Oh.
Because I think Riku, even like when you see them staged together in most like when they do like little tableaus of the three of them together, it's usually Sora and Kairi on equal footing. They're usually sitting on the same thing, a tree, a deck, but they're on equal ground.
Yeah.
And Riku will always be off to the side. If they're sitting, he's usually in a more standing position. He's more menacing, even when he doesn't mean to be. He's usually leaning on something with his arms crossed, and he has much more, like, his coloring is very cold. I do want to talk about colors as well. Like, I think Sora is very warm. All of his tones are very warm.
Yeah, he's got like chestnut brown hair.
Hair, light blue, warm yellow, soft red. It's a really pleasing palette. Riku, by comparison, has stark, cold silver hair, piercing, I think, blue eyes, a really intense yellow. It looks like a swimming vest thing.
It does.
With this intense black X over it, and black and dark blue pants, and silver, black, and dark blue shoes. And these gloves that are really intense. They're leather black. They don't come all the way down to the wrist. Like, he reads, even for a 15-year-old boy, very intimidating. Yeah. Like a shark.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. You know, he's also bold in a way that, like, Kairi is a little more wait and see.
Yes.
That Sora is just will go along with whatever Riku said, but Riku is always the one who's kind of having ideas and pushing ahead. That's one of the fundamental things I think about Riku, is that, like, he's not stopped by his fear.
No,
his whole thing is like I'm not going to let my fear of the unknown stop me. And the only way to conquer that fear is to, like, embrace darkness and dive headfirst into it.
Because that's the way, or
and
whatever.
And just, like, you're never gonna get over it if you don't see what's there.
100%. But, you know what is occurring to me in this moment as you were talking is Riku is the Sora of the Destiny Islands crew. Like, Sora and Kairi are the sidekicks to Riku's leading force. He's the driving force in that trio. And then when Riku is gone, and Sora is left to his own devices, partially because he's the main character, but I think also because he's the Keyblade Master and whatever, he becomes, within that space where Riku's sort of unintentionally oppressive presence pushes Sora into a subordinate role, Sora can become a leader too.
Yeah. And then that comes back around. Well, I feel like I'm urgent to just walk through Riku's arc.
All right, let's talk about
games.
the arc. Let's talk about it.
Because that all changes when Riku steps back into the picture after Sora's tasted that autonomy.
Absolutely. So I'll do Kingdom Hearts 1 Riku.
Great, and I'll chime in now that I've rewatched the cutscenes recently.
Absolutely. And so in Kingdom Hearts 1, Riku is one of Sora's closest friends. He is this, like, older brother, rival, kind of bullying Sora, makes these little jokes about, like, sharing a Paupu fruit with Kairi, like, is definitely, like, the classic boy rival situation. On the night that Destiny Islands opens up this portal to darkness, Riku is ready. Riku is done.
Well, he's the guy who's like, I want to see what other worlds out there. And then
it's finally time.
And then he sees a black hole and he's like, hey, those other worlds we wanted to see, I know we talked about a raft. They're right there.
Yeah, they're right there. Let's go. And so he reaches out his hand. There's this very, like, clear imagery of Riku throughout, of, like, him reaching out to Sora. And what's interesting about that to me is, like, typically in a hero context, someone reaching out is considered like an invitation into something good. But Riku's posing of it always has a little bit of this, like, smirk, or this like this knowing that there's something on the other side that's, like, a little dangerous. And do you want to come with me? And so he reaches out to Sora. Sora tries to reach back. Riku disappears, and then Sora gets the Keyblade. And that's that. And then we don't see Riku for a little bit. Sora goes to a couple of his first worlds, and then he comes back to the first world that he stumbled into, which was Traverse Town, after doing a little bit of exploring, getting a little bit to know about the Keyblade. And he's looking for the keyhole of Traverse Town, which he did not find when he first visited there. And Riku shows up. Riku's just like, where you been, buddy? And I didn't notice this the first time, but in that moment, Riku gets the Keyblade from Sora for a second.
Yeah, he
just goes like, "What's this thing you got here?"
It's kind of like off frame where like Riku's hands just sort of like comes into frame and he's already holding it. Like he like lifted it off of Sora.
He pickpocketed the Keyblade from Sora, which in the context of how we know the Keyblade works is a crazy fucking thing to do. It's like when Captain America kind of lifts Mjolnir for like 2 seconds in Age of Ultron. You're like, no, you can't be touching that. What are you doing?
That's the sacred weapon.
And so Sora, gets excited to see Riku. He's been looking for Riku and Kairi.
Yeah, they're like half of the quest solved. He's right
so
there.
Happy. And then Donald and Goofy kind of sidebar with Sora of like, well, we need to go do these other things. Like, we can't stop to have you catch up with your friend. And Sora turns around and Riku is gone.
Yep.
And it's really upsetting. It's like, oh man, what? Where'd he go?
Yeah, and there's no trace of like how he left or how he's getting places.
No, and then what we see, like a cut scene later, very, very close after that encounter, is Sora is in a conversation with a couple other characters, and the camera pans outside the window, and right outside the window is Riku, accompanied by Maleficent, the leader of the League of Evil Villains in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Right, you may remember her as the evil dragon lady from Sleeping Beauty.
Or Angelina Jolie.
I don't remember her as Angelina Jolie.
You don't remember her as Angelina Jolie?
That movie was very forgettable.
Oh, man. She had such cheekbones. The most cheekbones to ever do it. But so, Maleficent's doing the classic thing that we see villains do when they're trying to turn a character evil with, like, look at him, your friend. He's gone and found other friends without you. Woo, I'm your only real friend, Riku. I'm Maleficent, that kind of shit.
Oh, he's moved on. He's left you behind.
Yeah.
He's friends with a duck and a dog now.
Yeah, he doesn't need you anymore. And while you've been looking for Kairi, he's just off replacing you. Like classic.
He doesn't even care about Kairi anymore.
Such classic gaslighting. And so that's when Riku kind of goes full bastard mode. And then he starts showing up constantly.
Yeah.
So he rolls up to Monstro World, which is Jiminy Cricket, Pinocchio, Geppetto land. You get eaten by a whale in space. And Pinocchio's bopping around in the innards of this whale. It's giving very much the water level, not the water temple from Ocarina of Time, but that first water thing where you're still a kid.
Yes.
And you're inside that giant fish.
It's very much the water level of Kingdom Hearts.
It's giving
despite
that.
Not... Because there is a different
There's
water
also
level.
a water level.
But it doesn't feel like the water level.
It doesn't feel like the water level because it's not infuriating.
There's this thing about video games, and they just... why is the water level always so difficult?
I don't know. And so Riku is inside Monstro, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy are trying to find Pinocchio. And the reason why Riku is so fixated on Pinocchio is that Pinocchio is a puppet who is alive. And Riku finds that interesting because Kairi, he has discovered, is without her heart, but she cannot move around. She can't be walking.
She's just kind of like a lifeless body. And like the villains are holding on to her. And they're like, oh, you can see her, but she's just like an empty...
She's asleep right now.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're holding on to her is because when she does get her heart back, the 7 princesses of heart will be reunited.
Right.
And magic will happen.
Right. But I don't think Maleficent is telling Riku that.
She's not. She's directly lying to Riku because she's telling Riku that if he finds Kingdom Hearts, it will give him the knowledge to help Kairi get her heart back.
Right. Or there's also an interpretation of it that's like, yeah, her heart, she's empty. Her heart returned to the heart of all worlds.
Right.
And so if we go there, you can dig Kairi's heart back
like
out of it.
Like Hercules fishing for Megara in that soul tornado.
Right. Exactly like that, but not using the mechanics of literally the Hercules level that's in this Disney game. Confusing.
I think it makes perfect sense, Mischa. What are you talking about?
Well, because she's not dead. She's just lost her heart.
She's like in the mix. She's
because
in the
we
gray
all know
area.
You can live without your heart.
Clearly. in this... For sure.
Yeah.
But when we'll talk about that when we talk about Hearts versus Life Force or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, so Riku successfully captures Pinocchio.
Yeah, he's like, so how does this puppet live? Something there might be the answer.
Yeah,
maybe.
something there might be the answer. Basically, at this point, Riku's going full field research. He's bopping around, kind of messing with Sora. Yeah.
Well, but that also ties back to how he's related to a character coming out, Ansem.
Yes.
Because, like, the whole thing is as you're going around defeating these Disney villains, you're getting pieces of the reports from this guy who seems to be, like, the first
and foremost researcher on the Heartless.
Yeah, I was going to say scientist, but he's not really a scientist. He's sort of like a sorcerer in a magical realism world.
Yeah.
Where he's, like, a guy who has access to magic that is studying it.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and my 12-year-old brain, when, Ansem came up as a concept, to me, I was literally picturing like a dude with glasses in a lab with test tubes and a jacket.
Right.
And the pieces of paper you find, and presumably that Riku is also shuffling across as he's trying to figure this all out, leads you to believe that like this is a very even-keeled, science-driven person, and we will discover that is not the case.
No.
So,
but so the fact that like Riku, even in getting like tangentially close to that force, sort of follows the same path downwards.
Absolutely,
is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the thing we discover, and it's kind of funny, and I'm going to tie into Final Fantasy VII because I have to. Sephiroth, who is the core villain of Final Fantasy VII, is a silver-haired man who's the rival to the main character who also has spiky hair, and Sephiroth's descent into madness results from him reading a bunch of science reports, misunderstanding what the data means, and then going off and having a whole meteor storm about it.
Yeah.
So I just think that's funny.
Parallels.
The parallel. So Riku is becoming more obsessive, and as he's really in the pocket of Maleficent keeps giving him more darkness powers.
Yeah.
And imbuing him with the ability to control and engage with the Heartless in these different ways.
Yes, and it's manipulating his state of mind, but
it's making him mad with power.
Right, but I think his sort of mindset in that place is like, Sora is not taking this quest as seriously as he needs to. He's not using every tool at his disposal to save the woman we both love.
Right.
I will. I'm not afraid to use everything I can get my hands on.
I'm willing to put everything on the line.
Yes.
Everything.
And that makes me better than him.
And more suited to be the man in her life.
And more suited to wield the Keyblade?
Yes. Which we're yes.
Go on.
So, you keep bumping into him infamously on what might be my favorite level, although playing through it again, I'm like, I think I love the emotions I felt when I played the level, but the level itself is not that interesting, which is the pirate ship, the Captain Hook pirate ship. And he is like co-piloting the ship with Captain Hook and is kind of low-key like doming Captain Hook a little bit. He's like, I say where the ship goes.
Well, they've had other cutscenes where like Maleficent is leading the meetings and Riku's sort of her lieutenant.
Her second in command.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's bossing around these other Disney villains, and the Disney villains all have a lot of big feelings about it, and all of them kind of have weird little side, like, agendas.
Yeah.
These people are not aligned. If this was a business, it would crumble in the first year, which it did. Because they couldn't get on the same page. They barely show up to the meetings.
Right.
Everyone's doing their own assignment. But so Riku has Kairi and is like holding her unconscious body a lot, which I have thoughts about, and summons a shadow version of Sora that you have to fight. Very cool. And then, you fight Captain Hook and he's gone. And then we get towards the end. We're getting into the end game. We get to Hollow Bastion, one of the best worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1.
It's at this point, it's this shattered world. It's like on the verge of crumbling away entirely, but there's still like little vestiges of like platforms and waterfalls not falling the right way.
And fun fact, because I noticed this cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 1.5, when Sora wakes up in Traverse Town, Riku wakes up in Hollow Bastion.
Yeah, that's where he ends up.
That's where he ends up, which leads you to believe that there is a chance that if things had gone a little bit differently and Sora ended up in Hollow Bastion and Riku ended up in Traverse Town, the line in which these two boys could have had completely alternate trajectories is so thin.
Yeah.
It just comes down to, and like, I think this is true of all of us, where you were born and where you ended up.
Yeah, I think it's a little more than that with Riku, because again, this sort of like, I'll go first, I'll go further, I'll leap in with both feet mentality that he holds, and then he ends up leaving his world behind and going to the only other world he knows exists because Kairi's from there.
Right.
So that he sort of had a destination in mind.
And that's where they sent him. That's where his will sort of sent him.
Right, as opposed to Sora, who just like...
had no clue.
was cast adrift and ended up with all the driftwood in Traverse Town.
Yeah, that's a great point. So even down to just like their objectives.
Yeah.
Riku is driven to the core. You're right.
He's the one who's saying, I'm going to see what's out there no matter what it costs me.
Yeah. And also, I want to know where Kairi's from. Like, first and foremost, he is always thinking of her, which is pretty interesting.
That's true.
And so, we get to Hollow Bastion, which is where Riku has been spending the most time. And he's been spending the most time specifically with Maleficent and these villains. And he is at his peak villainy. You roll up and he's in the middle of beating the Beast to shit.
Yeah.
The Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Because the Beast, through his sheer force of will, basically ripped through the fabric of reality.
Fell through the darkness and followed the object of his affection.
Followed Belle here, because this is where Belle is. And he loves Belle, and he's gonna get her back. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And canonically, given that Beast is still in Beast form, that means this happens in the middle of the movie.
Yep.
So before Tale as Old as Time, or maybe in the middle, because she's in the dress, darkness rips open her world, puts her into the Kingdom Hearts silliness, and then bops her back out, and then the rest of the movie can happen.
I'm just imagining the little teapot from Beauty and the Beast in the middle of singing that song is like, where'd they go?
Where'd they go? Mama.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Where did Belle and Beast go?
Right. So
I don't know, Chip. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. You're right. You're right to say it.
Anyway, so, Riku is there and Sora's like, hey, stop beating this animal to death. And Riku's like, you and I have always been rivals. Classic line you say to your rival.
Yeah.
And in that moment, Riku successfully, through his heart's strength, is able to rip Keyblade wieldership away from Sora. And Riku now has the Keyblade for a little bit.
Yeah. He says, Maleficent said I was always supposed to have it, and if that's true, the strength of my heart will show the Keyblade who its rightful owner is, and in that moment, he's right.
And do you think in that moment he's right because he sowed enough doubt in Sora's heart?
Yes.
Yeah, I
100%.
think so too. I think Sora's in a really vulnerable place right now, and I think Riku preyed upon that.
Well, again, it's what you said before. It's that, Sora had this freedom. He has a position of authority that's handed to him that he never gets on Destiny Islands because Riku, being a year older, has always been there. He's got this Keyblade, and he has Donald and Goofy saying, you have the key.
The guy.
You're the guy. We're going to follow where you go. And Sora's never had that, and then he grows into it, and then is confronted with the guy who always told him, I'm in charge, listen to me.
Yeah.
And Sora backpedaled because progress is not linear.
Progress is not linear, and also, Sora's gotta have an imposter syndrome complex a little bit. Any 14-year-old boy in that position would. And I think we have a much more nuanced exploration, and we have a lot of better examples to draw from now in things like Steven Universe Future, for example, about what does it mean for a chosen character who is a young person who's thrust into life, death stakes. What does that do to a person's mind? But we didn't have that in 2002.
No.
We had Tarzan. But I think there is something to be said about Riku and Sora, and Sora genuinely not feeling like he's qualified to do this.
Right.
And there's someone who has at least the fake it till you make it, or the genuine belief that he is the rightful owner of this thing.
Right. Well, I don't think Riku cares who's the rightful owner. He cares who's willing to use that tool.
Interesting. It's interesting hearing so much of your interpretation of Riku wrapped up in this he's willing to go to the edge, because I think you're right.
Yeah.
And so you get to this point in Hollow Bastion, and also, to be clear, when Riku gets the Keyblade, Donald and Goofy leave with Riku.
Yep.
And Sora is left alone, and then Sora only has Beast. And I think there is something to be said about, Riku with Donald and Goofy, and then Sora with Beast, all of it feels wrong.
Yes.
All of it feels incorrect, and Donald and Goofy make sense with Sora. Sora is silly and also Mickey Mouse coded in a way that Riku is just not.
Yeah, and it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy exclusively in that
order. And so everything's a miss. Everything's adrift. Everything's in a Dutch angle. And and then you meet Riku in this fancy stairwell, and you're like, why am I in a stairwell? What's with this fountain? And then Sora has his iconic speech about how his friends are his power, and he is able to reclaim in this moment the Keyblade from Riku. And then you fight Riku. And that fight Not hard.
No.
You're like, ooh, we bodied him. So easy. And then Riku's like, this is not the last you've seen of me. And you go, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And then he runs down a dark hallway. It was mine. It was supposed to be mine. I had it. And Maleficent shows up. And she's like, it's time for you to meet God. It's time for you to meet the ultimate darkness.
Yeah, she's like, all of the dark, I've slowly been immersing you. This is the final way, baby.
Yeah.
You're ready for it.
And then you roll up and you see Riku in the respectfully craziest outfit I've ever seen a human being ever wear.
It's like black and purple and like sinuous, as though his muscles are on the outside.
I want to be so clear. It's a whole muscle suit.
Yeah.
From neck to feet. It is a full body garment made out of what looks like muscle material.
Right.
In a black, red, and purple color scheme with a grass skirt in white with dip-dyed blue at the ends. Come on, guys. What is going on? He looks even more like a predatory sea creature.
Yeah.
I think fulfilling the theme. And he has replaced his equally aquatic themed weird sword that he's been using, because up until this point, aside from when he briefly wields the Keyblade, Riku's core sword is this weird spinal, it looks like the wing or back part of like a fish with these like pointed skeletal edges and a very prominent blue eyeball.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I've never heard it described as a sea thing before.
I've always felt it's like a sea creature.
It looks to me like a dragon's wing.
That's so fair.
Like Maleficent in her dragon form has wings.
That's
you know?
fair. I feel like because of the color scheme specifically, it feels like a deep sea creature.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're not wrong. I've literally never heard that before.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's
cool.
all I ever thought. And so, like, very anglerfish coated in some ways. And so, what's interesting is because we just got to this part in our Are You Winning Son playthrough. And what's really interesting is this fight in childhood lore across everyone who's played this game is legendary.
Yep. It
is one of the most unforgiving fights I have ever experienced in my young life. It is not any easier as an adult. If anything, it's more insulting, frankly. But Sora rolls up. There's a force field around the arena. Goofy and Donald cannot help you. Mm-hmm. And Riku, in this weird muscle fit with the grass skirt, is sitting on top of this giant, very upsetting looking heart-shaped portal.
Yeah, it's like a big mad science portal machine.
Yeah, it's got this brass outline with these weird veiny pipes around it, and poor unconscious Kairi, who's getting dragged all over the place, is laying at the center of the arena. And Riku is sitting on top of this heart-shaped portal, quite high up in the air, sitting in a way we've never seen him sit before, and talking to Sora. And they've done a really cool sound mixing thing where they've got David Gallagher's voice lines, and then underneath it is another character reading the same lines, but in a much deeper voice.
Yep.
And we have not identified who that voice is yet. But in this moment, it is revealed that that is Ansem.
The guy who wrote all those things.
The guy who wrote all those things, the foremost researcher on Heartless, and someone who, it is clear at this point, is a lot more of a threat than we have been led to believe.
Yeah.
And Sora picks up unconscious Kairi. Riku floats down menacingly to the ground, and immediately on sight, Sora goes, "You're not Riku." Oh! It's so good. He's like, "You're not Riku." Like, he knows immediately.
And that's how you know that Sora and Riku are meant to be together. Because Sora can identify it through all the lies, through all of the manipulation. He's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, it's like, that's not my boy.
That's not my man.
That ain't him. Where'd he go? What'd you do with him? What have you done with him? And so then proceeds the most insane boss fight ever, where, you know, it's the boys at their most boy in this dark, horrible place. And at some point, after many attempts and so many mega ethers and patience and days, you defeat the boy.
Right.
Somehow, some way. Probably luck.
Well, like, the reason that this has happened, right, is Maleficent has slowly been turning Riku more and more onto the evil, like corrupting him to the point enough where Ansem could invade wholly.
And also, I will make it clear that right before this Riku fight, you fight Maleficent. And she's in her base, spellcasting form. You defeat her, and then she drifts into this portal, and you follow her into the portal. And Riku, in his weird muscle outfit, is there with a Keyblade that Maleficent has gifted to him. That's not the Sora Keyblade. It's this all black with a red handguard, and the blade itself is shaped like a cutout, hollowed heart.
Yeah.
And this is not a Keyblade that's meant to seal the darkness away. This is a Keyblade that's supposed to plunge hearts into darkness on contact.
Yeah.
And its first victim is Maleficent herself, because Riku plunges that thing into her heart, turning her into a mindless, violent, fire-breathing dragon.
He's outgrown her.
Yeah.
He's ready for more.
He's ready for more. He got promoted.
Yeah.
And that fight is also super hard.
Yes.
And so now we've gotten to this point where Riku, in his weird Ansem muscle form, has been defeated once again. And Sora still has to deal with the fact that Kairi is unconscious. And over the course of this fight, Riku has, right before, told Sora, Kairi's heart is inside you. And that's the thing that's been sort of protecting him, in the sense that, like, even in this moment, like, Riku's about to, like, swing this Keyblade above Sora's head while he's, like, dealing with this information, and he hears Kairi's voice clear as day, warning him, and he pushes the Keyblade up, pushes Riku back, and that's what leads us into the fight. So after defeating Ansem Riku, Sora is left with, okay, Kairi's heart's inside my heart. What do? I know that there's this Keyblade that Riku had, and you know what? If it's supposed to unseal hearts or do all this stuff, and Sora, no hesitation, plunges this Riku Keyblade into his own heart.
With a big smile on his face.
With a big, beautiful smile on his face. And in Sora's understanding, at this particular moment, he is dying.
Yeah.
And will never come back.
Yep.
But that is what he is willing to do to get Kairi back.
Yeah.
They are both willing to go to the edge in different ways, in different approximations based on their understanding of the situation. They are both willing to do everything it takes to get Kairi's heart back.
Yeah, and that realization, I think, gets through to him under the layer of darkness that, like, under that Ansem possession layer.
That mars his heart, absolutely. And so Sora turns into a little heartless. Kairi gets her heart back. You wander around as a heartless for like 0.25 seconds before you reunite with Kairi. She holds you in an embrace, and her heart calls out to Sora's heart and turns him back into Sora, and it's great.
And I have to stress, I can't stress enough that, like, that's just how things happen in this game series. Like,
absolutely.
That's just the kind of thing that happens.
Those are just, like, you'll have these longer stints, and then just a bunch of stuff happens really fast. And so now Sora and Kairi are reunited. Kairi is safe. And now it's time to get Riku.
Yeah.
Where's our boy?
Who, I mean, they gathered up all the princesses. They got to the keyhole of Hollow Bastion, which is this world that's, like, so close to darkness already. It's practically
there.
Crumbs left.
Yeah.
And so it was that close to darkness that, like, if you were going to find a way to where Ansem thinks Kingdom Hearts is, which is inside of the realm of darkness, he thinks that's where he's going to find this source of ultimate power.
Right.
He picked a good spot for it.
Yeah. He nailed it. Good real estate.
Yeah.
And so now we've got to go into, like, the end of the world, which is just a gauntlet of the most brutal, heartless fights back to back. Chernabog from Fantasia is there.
Man.
There's a lot of fucking onslaught fights. And so you finally get to the end of the fucking game. You meet Ansem, who, again, if you, Mayanna, 12 years old, are expecting a scientist with glasses, boy howdy hey, do you not get that?
No.
You get one of the coolest character designs maybe ever, but also the scariest man you've ever seen in your life.
Like a man who is so hot
So hot.
And like
so hot.
Silver hair in peak formation and like
piercing orange eyes.
Like olive skin and always wearing a trench coat that's like full open to his abs.
With belts and like straps, and he's flying.
And then occasionally the bottom half of his body is attached to this giant monster creature
creature. It's really upsetting. It is interesting though, because I wonder if like, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about masculinity in the Kingdom Hearts games, which is funny to talk about a game where like Donald and Goofy are there. But like Ansem to me physically, like separate from the heartless stuff and whatever, looks like what I think Riku thinks a grown ass man is.
Yeah.
Like, that's a man.
You get the sense that, like, before you really know a lot more about where this guy comes from, and we'll have so many episodes covering all of that.
We have to.
But back in Kingdom Hearts 1 times when it was just the one thing, like, it does sort of read as, like, this is what Riku thinks he'll look like in 15 years when he's mastered all of the dark powers.
And got a tan.
Yeah.
100%. And so you defeat Ansem, and man, is it hard. And then you get finally to this moment where Kingdom Hearts makes itself known. The thing the game is about. And it's this brilliant, beautiful, giant door with this gorgeous stained glass, and it's piercing, and you run up to it, and you have to close it because the darkness is going to come in. And on the other side of that door is Mickey, the only time you see Mickey in the first game.
Yeah.
And he's got this color-swapped version of the Keyblade where the silver and the gold are inverted from Sora's. And he's instructing you to close the door and seal it to stop the darkness from seeping in. And on the inside of that door is Riku. And so Sora is pushing the door closed from the outside, and Riku is pulling the door closed from the inside. And they can't close it unless they do it together. Even Riku in this moment knowing that like he is going to be the furthest away from his friends he's ever been, potentially with no way to return to them. And the last thing he says to Sora is take care of her as the door is closed. And that's how Kingdom Hearts 1 ends. And that's crazy.
That's crazy.
just to be like, and Sora, when Riku tells Sora to take care of her, Sora nods with this intensity and deliberateness and this like, yeah, of course. Like,
and it's Riku finally respecting that Sora is of an equal maturity to take on an equal amount of responsibility, a thing he's not admitted to the rest of the game.
Yeah. There's also a weird ominous read to it of like David has told me that when he's had to be like best man's or in male bridal party type stuff a lot. And he started to look up what the context of the best man role is. And again, I haven't fact checked this to double check it, but this is the thing that he found, which is the best man originally was the man you thought in case you died in combat before your wedding day or on your wedding day that could marry your wife in your stead. That's insane, personally. That's a whole other thing. But it's giving very much Riku. I mean, we can have a discussion about, quote unquote, who loves Kairi more, Riku or Sora. But I think in this moment, it's this acknowledgement that Riku is like, you need to be with Kairi because I can't be with Kairi.
Yes. And that's kind of what I want to get into for, we had Kingdom Hearts 1, and then there's like the rest of the Kingdom Hearts series.
Games. Hi, it's Mayanna. I just wanted to hop on here again and say thank you so much for listening to Simple and Clean, a Kingdom Hearts podcast. I firstly wanted to thank Mischa for covering ad reads last week as I was out of town in Orlando, Florida, with David visiting both of our families. But I'm so glad to be back and talking to y'all directly here once again. It has been such a joy being able to do this show with Mischa, one of my closest friends, and get to share our love for this game series that has meant so much to both of us for so long. If you want to share even more love with us, you can follow us over on Instagram at Simple and Clean Pod. We've got some very fun posts of Keyblades that Mischa designed when they were a child. But if you feel so inclined and want to help us keep the lights on in a different way, we also have a Patreon. You can find us at Simple and Clean Pod on Patreon. And for $5 a month, you can sign up for the final mix tier, which gives you ad-free versions of the episodes that you listen to wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, if you don't want to sign up for the Patreon, another way you can support the show is by engaging with it. You can leave a comment, you can leave a review, you can share an episode with a friend, and just spread some more of the Kingdom Hearts love. But honestly, if you're listening to the show and you're enjoying it, that is more than enough support, and we really, really appreciate it. We've got some really, really exciting episodes coming up, including a couple where my sister and brother will be guest starring, talking about music and 100%ing the Kingdom Hearts games. So please stick around for lots of fun things coming down the pipe. Also, I want to take a moment to highlight some really fun things going on the Multitude side of things. Multitude is in the middle of their Multi-Crew Drive. The Multi-Crew Drive is an annual fundraiser that the Multitude crew puts on to raise money and also just get to hang and collab with the other podcast hosts. There's going to be some fun streams, including supersized trivia, spirits sleepover, and some Let's Play streams as well. So if you want to hop in on any of that stuff, you can check out updates to those things on the Multitude Discord. For that and any other interesting Multitude updates, you can always go over to multitude.productions to get all of that sweet, sweet info. And just before I let you go, I wanted to take this last second to thank one of our sponsors for this episode, Gender Free World Clothing. Gender Free World Clothing was founded in 2015 by a little group of like-minded individuals who passionately believe that we all have the right to wear well-fitting clothing which suits our style choices. People's bodies are all different. In addition to height and size, there are variations in hips, bottoms, shoulders, and chest sizes. One size does not always fit all. After extensive research, Gender Free World Clothing has created shirts in 4 body shape templates: the Alex, the Billy, the Charlie, and the Drew. And these ranges accommodate those different variations. The Alex is for wider hips, the Billy is for larger busts, the Charlie is for shoulders and hips in similar proportion, and the Drew is for those with broad shoulders, narrow hips, and longer bodies. No matter how you're shaped, you're sure to find a style that is going to suit you. If you're interested in shopping with Gender Free World, they are offering 12% off with our code SIMPLE12 at checkout on your first order. That's SIMPLE12 for 12% off on your first order. So to get yourself something nice, you can go over to gfwclothing.com. That's gfwclothing.com for 12% off your first order with our code SIMPLE12.
I think the rest of his arc from there is like, oh, I thought I was the only one who could do this so hard it almost broke reality.
It almost broke reality, and also, I don't know if I like the person I became in pursuit of being with Kairi.
Yeah.
I don't like the person he became in pursuit of trying to be with Kairi.
No,
as a player.
And he doesn't. He spends a bunch of the next few games trying to deny that part of himself, like sort of cutting himself off from power he knows he needs to keep people safe anyway. So I'll briefly step through the next few games.
Step through the next few games.
So he's in the realm of darkness, and there's a bit we don't get until much later. It's in a short little prequel game called Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage. I
love a fragmentary passage. So many costume options for a game that's 4 hours long.
It's a game. The protagonist is...
Game is strong.
This mini game
experience,
this playable trailer, if you will.
One of the only times you get to play as a female character.
Yeah, so you're playing as Aqua, and this is like sort of after a different game. She's like trapped in the realm of darkness. She's trying to find her way through. She ends up like cameoing in that end moment with Mickey and Sora and Riku at the door, where like once they seal the door, Riku's about to be consumed by darkness, and Aqua sort of lays down her body to keep Riku safe. And he doesn't know that until much later, but it does happen. And then he wakes up, and he's in the basement of this castle.
This really stark white castle. A castle that you, the player, at this juncture would be familiar with. It is Castle Oblivion.
Yeah.
Because this is a game you can only unlock after you've beaten the base game of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, the Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, so after you beat Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories as Sora going through this castle, reliving memories from the first game, talking to Naminé. We've discussed a little bit
I can't wait to talk about Naminé.
And then you get to the second half of that game, Chain of Memories Reverse Rebirth, which is that while Sora was going from the ground floor to the top of the castle, Riku was trying to fight his way out of the basement to the ground floor of the same castle at the same time. And while Sora is fighting some of the organization, Riku is fighting other members of the
other parts.
organizations.
Yeah, they really split these crews. I feel like if I was in Organization 13, I couldn't help but take it personally because the insane, insulting fucking job just like rankings is crazy. They're like, you get the basement. Like, how fucking dare you? But anyway.
Yeah, so immediately he's confronted by this guy who's like, hey, are you just gonna lie there? Or are you gonna pick yourself up and keep moving?
Mm-hmm.
And Riku fights his way through this castle. One of the plots that sort of reveals itself is that one of the members of the organization is a guy who specializes in creating replicas, essentially living dolls.
Yes.
And we're going to have an episode about replicas, so don't worry about it.
Because they are different than other things.
Yes. But the first introduction to this concept that we get is that this guy Vexen has made a replica of Riku.
Yeah.
Who is supposed to be like Riku never regretting falling to the darkness. He's sort of really fully embraced it. He's constantly wearing that purple and black muscle suit to differentiate him from normal Riku.
From normal, not fish suit Riku.
So you can tell them apart during the boss fight between the two.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Riku in his base fit, which is the yellow safety guard vibes.
But it is in line with the plot that Sora goes through in Chain of Memories, where the organization is manipulating these protagonists, not trying to kill them or defeat them, but to manipulate them and corrupt their quest to serve the organization.
Yeah, using them as tools in a bigger agenda that we only have vague understandings of.
And so Riku's purpose in that plot is like they put him in the castle, they fight him, and they like get data on how he is and who he is, and then they use that to create a replica that will serve them.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
And in the end, Riku finds that the only way he can defeat this evil replica of him is by embracing the dark powers he was trying to get away from.
He's trying to suppress it. God, there's so much coded embrace your sexuality stuff in there.
Yeah.
Really, like, really clearly stuff of like, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm gay. And then you can free your mind and the rest will follow. And I think like Riku, rightfully so, saw what the darkness did to him. But the difference there is Riku had a bad teacher, or at least a teacher who was not on his side, a teacher who was purposefully in the pocket of manipulating him for nefarious purposes. And this time, Riku is engaging in these forces that are something that he can understand and empathize with in a way that Sora, because of his role as the Keyblade Master and Guardian of Light or whatever, cannot. And so in this moment, in embracing that darkness, not for, I guess you could say, like selfish or power-hungry purposes, but instead for the purposes of self-preservation and understanding, he is able to master it in a way.
Yeah, and
begin the process of doing that.
In Chain of Memories, he also gains mentors in good people that have touched the darkness to learn its ways but not be consumed by it.
Specifically, Mickey Mouse.
He's got Mickey Mouse, who spent a bunch of time in the Realm of Darkness, searching for the Keyblade of the Realm of Darkness so they could seal that door. And this guy, Diz. Now, there's stuff about Diz, and I don't want to spoil it because we're going to talk about it later.
Yes.
But Diz is another guy who sort of steeped himself in darkness for not a world-ending cause. He did it even though he was like fundamentally a light-aligned guy.
Right.
And so having these two new mentors to show him like, oh, embracing darkness within you doesn't have to be the most destructive force in the cosmos.
It doesn't even have to be bad.
Yeah.
It can be good.
Yeah.
Because it's knowledge.
If you channel it for the genuine love of the people you love, then that your inner darkness doesn't have to consume you. You can channel it towards positive purpose.
And I think that's really beautiful because I think the rhetoric of like choose happiness is a very kind of, I think, loaded, sometimes useless phrase because there are people who cannot choose happiness. But what you can do is embrace what you have inside you, understand it, hold space for it. I like Turning Red. It's a Pixar movie where it's like you make space for the messy parts of yourself.
Would make a great Kingdom Hearts world.
It would make a great Kingdom Hearts world. Hey, the day is young. Yeah. It'll be very fun to have the If I Ran the Zoo of like worlds that didn't exist and just fully pitching them to you.
That'll be a fun day.
I can't wait for that day. I've thought about this for years. But I think like Riku's journey of knowing that the darkness is inside him and is something on some level he chose.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to embrace it, understand it, and empathize with himself is you're right, the journey he goes on for the rest of the game. And it starts here in the Game Boy Advance game.
Well, yeah, and it starts here in the Game Boy Advance version. The next game is Kingdom Hearts 2, where when Riku first shows up, you don't know he's Riku because he looks like Ansem.
He looks exactly like Ansem from Kingdom Hearts 1.
And I don't want to get into Kingdom Hearts 2 yet because I want to explain how he gets there, which happens in another side game. But the release order was a little jumbled. So I just want to cover that briefly before I talk about Kingdom Hearts 358 divided by 2 days.
Hell yeah,
or 358 over 2 days.
358 over 2 days. Because I remember there is like an in-universe explanation. I believe the in-universe explanation is the 2 days in which the fight with Shion is happening, you lose because, whatever. We'll talk about it later.
The point is that it has a silly name.
And I love it. And that was one that I played and I cried.
Yeah. So Riku is in that as sort of an antagonistic force because in that game, the player characters are the villains.
Yeah, you're playing
as Organization 13.
Organization 13, and you are doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
Every world you're going to, you're doing bad stuff.
You're going there, and your mission is to make it worse.
And you think you're just doing your day job. Hey, and there's a lot to be said about I was just doing my job, and you were bad.
Yep.
You were bad in that situation.
Yep. A lot of people who are just following orders should stop doing that.
And they do.
Good. Yeah,
At the end, they do.
That's right. There's hope yet.
So
in 358 by 2 days, Riku is sort of like Riku and Diz have kind of fully formed a team.
Yes.
Diz is committed to reawakening Sora, and Riku and Diz are aligned in that.
Yes.
Not really why they want those things, but the fact that they want that thing.
They have a common goal. The reasons for it, not aligned, but like, hey, what is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly. So Riku spends a lot of the game trying to kidnap first Shion and then Roxas in order to awaken Sora. And the organization has become so powerful by that point that he can't defeat them, solely relying on the powers that he feels comfortable using. And so he has to even more fully embrace darkness.
Yeah, go to the next level.
And in doing that, he fully assumes the form of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the guy who was possessing him in the first game.
The guy who represents to Riku, like, the
his
scary,
fall.
like, yeah, his fall and also, like, kind of his abuser.
Yeah.
Like, this adult who manipulated him and hurt him and turned him into something he didn't like and is represented to him, I think, as evil. And so because he is struggling with seeing himself as anything other than evil. Yes, he physically takes on this form of this evil man who like hurt him and his friends and is the harbinger of like destruction.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when that carries through to Kingdom Hearts 2, which takes place like a week later.
Right. Oh, what a week it was.
He fully looks like Ansem from the first game, but he acts like Riku.
Right.
It's like the opposite of the possession.
Right.
It's looks like Ansem, talks like Riku, as opposed to looks like Riku, talks like Ansem.
Yes.
Riku's like, hey, if this works, don't tell Sora because I don't want him to see me like this.
I don't want him to see me like this, which is such... It's giving Fiona in Shrek.
Yeah. And he spends most of Kingdom Hearts 2 like that. He goes around helping Kairi, and Kairi doesn't know it's him for a while. Eventually, I think towards the end of the game,
she's like, you have to show me your face. And she takes the hood off, and it's Ansem. And it's such a stark, strange moment.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling. And like you can feel, they did a really good job in like the subtle animation of like, you can feel his bashfulness. You can feel that he's really embarrassed and like.
And to see those human expressions on the villain of the first game's face was nuts.
It was wild. And so, you know, we get to the end of the game. We're in yet another big spooky castle.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a mix between Castle Oblivion and also like vaguely Hollow Bastion feeling.
It also looks a little Star Warsy.
It's very Star Warsy. I have a lot to say, and we will say it in the Kingdom Hearts 2 episode. Kingdom Hearts 2 is doing a whole ass Star Wars, and I don't even think they're trying to hide it. I think they're proud of it, and they should be. But anyway, yeah, you're kind of in a weird space station castle thing.
Yeah.
And Sora finally reunites once again with Kairi and Riku. And this is where Sora gets down on his knees, holding Riku's hand, and weeps and like is so moved to have seen Riku again. And Riku's in this Ansem form.
Yeah.
And forgive me if I'm misremembering here. I believe it's like Sora's embrace of Riku and these tears that turn Riku back to himself.
Oh, I hate to burst that bubble. That's not what happened at all.
That's not what happened?
So in Kingdom Hearts 2, Organization 13's plot is they're kind of using Sora battling Heartless to gather up all these hearts to form an artificial Kingdom Hearts.
Which is weird and gross and like, girly, you missed the boat.
Yeah.
Come on, queen.
And so in order to sort of counteract their plan, Diz tries to like download the artificial Kingdom Hearts into data form.
In like a big ass, like
a little
metal,
machine thing.
Yeah, it's just like a metal
and
teapot looking thing.
And Kingdom Hearts is too strong to be contained by that thing, so there's an explosion of light, and in that explosion of light, Riku turns back to his normal form.
That's what turns him back. Okay, great. Love that. Love that. It's close in cutscene time.
It's sort of like by accident and not because Riku was trying. It's sort of like Kingdom Hearts gives him a second chance.
And also, I wonder if like Kingdom Hearts, the real Kingdom Hearts, remembers what Riku looks like.
Yeah.
But what's interesting also about this particular moment is Riku's hair is much longer, and he's got this cool ass blindfold.
Yeah, the blindfold was sort of like so his eyes couldn't lie because he could only see himself as evil. So whenever he looked in the mirror, he would look like Ansem. But if he blindfolded himself, he'd look like himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of convoluted.
It was kind of wild. And then he also ditches that and then gets his cool Kingdom Hearts 2 fit, which is the fit
the fit.
All time.
They really, in future games, they really downgraded it, and it's kind of disappointing.
It's the hottest outfit.
And at that point, he has his own Keyblade finally. A legitimate Keyblade.
Good.
And it looks like his old evil sword with like new little lighter bits. There's
an
like
angel wing specifically.
There's a little angel wing that turns the sword into a key by forming the teeth of the key. And like the handle's the same, but there's new angel wings as the hand guard. And it just takes this evil thing and redeems it a little.
Yeah.
And the Keyblade is called The Way to the Dawn.
Yes.
Because Riku's walking that path from darkness back to light. And that's his whole deal.
It's so beautiful. And then you get a very cool badass fight where Sora and Riku take down the baddie together. There's a sick ass QTE sequence where Sora and Riku go back to back.
And there's like a dome of lasers.
They deflect 1,000 laser beams. He knocked 1,000 hands style. It is the coolest shit ever.
It's dope.
It's lit. It's the most 2000s. It's so fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then you get a really cool CG cutscene at the end, and everyone's on Destiny Islands together.
And they defeat Xemnas, the final antagonist of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes.
And they've been looking for this door to darkness because Kingdom Hearts lives in darkness, so they've been trying to find the way to darkness. And finally, at the end, they find the door to light, and it leads them home with each other.
And Mickey's there with Riku. He finally has his dad. Sora gets 2 dads, Donald and Goofy, and Riku gets 1 dad, and it's Mickey. And Kyrie's there, and Roxas is there, and Namine's there, and everyone's there, and it's great. And then you kind of feel like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
Game over.
Game done.
We done. But no.
Well, and that's honestly, in my mind, kind of where Riku's arc sort of ends.
Yeah, kind of.
In Dream Drop Distance,
we're doing mastery stuff.
They've been given official, if you do this, you will be a master. They've been given this mission by Yen Sid, the great sorcerer, and they have to reawaken these worlds. And in the
slumbering worlds.
And in the process of doing that, one of the pieces of Xehanort, the whole villain of this whole thing, sort of comes back and tries to possess Sora this time. And Riku says, oh, no. I allowed this to happen to me.
Yeah.
I will not allow this to happen to my friend.
Yes.
And saves Sora from the fate he suffered.
Yes, and because at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, you have, Sora and Riku in the lobby with Yensid, of his sorcerer's study, and he's like, hey, you're about to depart on this master's exam. Riku is he's in what will inevitably become his Kingdom Hearts 3 fit, but it's kind of like an in-between between 2 and 3. But he looks like himself, and Sora looks like himself. But then when they go into the Slumbering Worlds, they both revert to how they looked when they were 14 and 15.
Yeah.
But Riku still has his post-character arc haircut. Somewhere between the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 and Dream Drop Distance and then Kingdom Hearts 3, Riku cuts his hair.
Yes.
And it's shorter than even it was when he was in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, and it's
fine.
Not a good haircut.
I think Kingdom Hearts 2 Riku is peak Riku.
Yeah.
I think they ate. I think best to ever do it.
It's like peak hot boy shop at Hot Topic look.
So great.
He's got like this sullen look, and he sort of like leans back in his posture like he's too cool to stand up straight.
Yeah, he looks like he snowboards.
He's got swagger.
He got swagger.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me is like they went through the art design to give us, age appropriate Riku and Sora for who they will be in Kingdom Hearts 3. But then when they go into these slumbering worlds, they are the younger versions of themselves again, but in the clothes of their older selves.
Right.
It's very interesting. And so then, we get Riku does it. He does the mastery.
Yeah, Riku actually, through all this growth, through showing that he won't allow his best friend to fall to the exact same fate that led him down to the road to darkness in the first place. Like that is, he has shown mastery over his heart and over the Keyblade, and he is granted the title of Keyblade Master when Sora, the protagonist of the game, is not.
He does not. And that's what brings us into Kingdom Hearts 3. And I think Riku takes a pretty significant back seat in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, he's sort of dispatched to go rescue Aqua from the realm of darkness.
Right.
They need all of these heroes of light to battle the forces of darkness.
And that fight is brutal. That fight with Aqua is intense.
That's one of my favorite fights in Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's gorgeous. It's
great.
And it's kind of this cautionary tale, and it's this great moment for Riku to see what could have become of him if he had not been saved by her.
It's sort of, his arc in Dream Drop Distance in Kingdom Hearts 3 reads to me like, okay, you've officially learned your lesson. Now put it to the test. Like, what have you learned?
Yes.
And it's sort of Riku showing that he's learned that people can be rescued from the darkness no matter how far they've fallen.
Right, which is why he's the perfect candidate. He has the empathy because he's experienced it.
Yeah.
To know that most people who have been marred in it, even for extended periods of time, that there's a part of you that will always be in there fighting.
Yes.
And so, he is the perfect guardian to go on those sorts of missions.
And that, I think, is Riku's sort of purpose in the series. It's Riku takes such a long arc, learns so many things, falls so far, comes back so far, all to get to a point of empathy that Sora has without blinking.
100%. Yes, and I also think Sora as a character represents the unapologetic embracing of childhood whimsy, and Riku, I think, represents the very complicated, oscillating battle between embracing maturity and holding on to your childhood.
Yeah.
I think that he is, as we all are, in a fight with ourselves of like we are all fighting the darkness every day in different ways.
Yeah.
The darkness takes many forms in our actual lives. And I think that Riku is, emblematic of that battle, and also emblematic of I think about this a lot in terms of how a parent relates to their child. I think parents deal with a lot of darkness to protect their children from experiencing it. That's how in my mind, that's how the social contract is supposed to work.
Yeah.
You take on more bullshit to protect the smile, to protect their smile. And I think Riku does that for Sora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also something too of the fact that this game is aimed at kids who are Sora's starting age.
100%.
And Riku is a character who is constructed to be what teens think they want to be.
Yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he falls, receives that growth, comes back out of it as a full master, a full adult, you might say, and turns around and protects others from harm. I don't know if it was meant to show kids that path that being an edgelord doesn't make you mature.
I think it absolutely was intentional. I'm starting to believe, the more that I think about this series, that there were a lot more deliberate design choices that, when you put it all together in this package, there's a lot coming at you, right?
Yeah.
There's
dense.
It's dense. There's bombastic music. There's spaceships. There's Heartless. There's Jack Skellington. There's lots going on. But at the core are some really, really, really clear themes.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with you because I think Riku, you could make the argument Riku is coded as quote unquote the nice guy, the guy who, look at all I'm doing for you. The least you could do is be with me. He is irony poisoned. He is the person who maybe got on 4chan when he was a little too young and didn't understand what it was doing to his mind. And then he isolates himself from his friends and he makes really inappropriate jokes that people don't really know how to engage with. And all of a sudden he finds himself increasingly isolated, increasingly exposed to a dark void. And I think like there's lots of paths you can take, but I think there are these very clear delineating splits in the road where you can choose the path of light. You know, like, so what if somebody laughs at me? So what if somebody thinks I'm cringe? So what if people make fun of my backpack because it's got a cartoon character on it? I don't care. I like who I am and I'm proud of who I am. And I'm going to break through your little cynical wall. I'm going to introduce myself to you and we're going to become friends. Or you become fuck everything. Fuck my town. Fuck my friends. Fuck the place I came from. Fuck the things I used to believe. Everything that's bigger and better and more powerful and more grandiose and more amazing is out there. And I have to go and take it because nobody's going to fucking give it to me.
Yeah.
And I don't care what I have to lose. And I don't care who I have to hurt. And I don't care what I have to do. Because that's what I deserve.
But then fortunately for us all as the audience, like the next 6 or 7 games are spent saying like, hey, you fell.
Yeah.
We all fall.
Yeah.
There's no amount of fallen that you can be that you can't come back from if you work at it.
100%. And that's such a beautiful theme because I think how the player relates to Riku, because you don't play as Riku until the end of the second mobile, like Game Boy Advance game. You as a player do not empathize with Riku more than Sora empathizes with Riku. And at points in the game beckons you to hurt Riku.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to progress.
Because video games are about combat.
But like there comes a moment in every game from a design perspective where you have to choose the core mechanic by which a player engages with the world. And combat is an easy one and one that is very popular, but there are other ways to choose to engage. And it's a deliberate design decision every time the way forward requires violence to progress. And so in the case of Sora, you have to physically fight and subdue your best friend to progress and sort of top dog it. But even in that process, you get the sense that like Sora would never kill Riku. Sora is not a killer.
It's always like, have you had enough? Are you ready to come to your senses?
Yeah, are you done now? And like even when Sora finishes off a Heartless, that process is the heart that the Heartless was sort of encapsulated around releases into the sky. Sora, as a combatant, is not here to kill you. Sora is here to set you free. And I think like in the case of Riku, especially in those first few games where you don't get to play as him, that process is like, okay, time to get you out of here, man. Like it's late, let's go home. And then when you get to play as Riku, I think that empathy process becomes 100% encapsulated because now you have to guide this boy through this process. I've heard games described in the past as like machines for empathy. And I think that's why, because you beckon to be engaged with almost as much as books, but definitely more than books, because the story cannot progress unless you physically do things to make that happen. But I think, with Riku, you never really, even when Riku is your opponent, I feel like as the player, I never look at Riku and go, fuck that guy.
No.
I look at that guy and go, oh, damn it. How do we get you back on our side?
Yeah, because unlike other antagonistic forces, I mean, they spend a lot of time showing like, Riku's choices were pretty ordinary. He like wanted to help his friend. He thought his other friend wasn't doing enough. And he knew like he just had to step up, as opposed to other antagonistic forces where like especially Maleficent, who, in contrast to Riku, like Maleficent is like, I'm going to bring together these villains and gain access to the heart of all worlds. Why? Because I want to rule everything.
Because I want to take over everything. Yeah, like even in Riku's quote unquote most selfish moments, they are in service of him trying to prove himself to a girl that he has a crush on.
Yeah.
And that is a process a lot of people can relate to. But I think the thing that we discover is ultimately you can do a lot of things for a person, but that person is not obligated to return that service to you.
Right.
And instead, what Riku gets, instead of a romantic relationship with a girl he has a crush on, is he gets the chance to be seen and known and embraced and accepted, even when he has a hard time embracing and accepting himself.
Yeah. I mean, he does come around to the thing that we should all come around to, I think, from that, which is like, you don't do things for the girl because then she'll owe you. You do things for the girl because you should do good things.
Yeah, you do things for the girl because that girl is a person.
Yeah.
And that person's your friend. And you care about your friends. And so, of course, you're going to stick up for your friends. And I think that's why, like, you know, we can talk about Riku and Sora and the shipping sort of nature of it. But I think that the canonical relationships, as we understand them, is that Sora and Kairi are a couple. And I think Sora is with Kairi because Sora sees Kairi in a way that I think Riku struggled to see Kairi, at least at first. Riku saw Kairi as representative of a world he wanted to experience. And Sora sees Kairi as his friend. You know, inevitably through this process of these crazy forces of the cosmos descending upon these three unsuspecting teenagers, Riku grows into his understanding and his appreciation of Kairi's friendship.
Yeah.
And his appreciation of Sora and Kairi's friendship. And that these are the two most important people in his life.
And then Riku goes like, oh shit, if I valued my friends, they'd be my power too.
Yeah. And then they are.
And then they are.
And they don't turn their back on him or reject him when he utilizes darkness. And they don't even really, like, they're like, yeah, man, great.
They're like
awesome.
You bring darkness to the table. Are you going to use it to help us defeat the evil guy? Sweet.
Great. Fantastic. I don't care. I don't care that you're gay. That rocks, actually. Pop off, king.
It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. What's important is, are you punk rock?
Yes. Can you glide?
Well, I think that's so much said about Riku.
I think that's the most to be said. What are you walking away with?
Just that thing of like, he really is the encapsulation of like, it doesn't matter how far you fall, you can always come back. And when you come back, after you stop hurting them, your real friends will be there for you when you do.
Absolutely. For me, I think it's okay if you aren't perfect.
Yeah.
It's okay if you find yourself in a situation where you've made some bad decisions for a little bit. But to that same point, intention is everything. And Riku's intention is to be a better person and be a better friend and be a better Keyblade wielder and warrior and all of these things. And like that intention to wake up every day and, you know, wipe the dust out of your eyes and acknowledge, take accountability and accept the parts of yourself that did something that hurt people, but vow instead to not do that ever again because you know you have the capacity to do so and you choose instead not to, is a really beautiful thing.
Not choosing happiness like it's easy, choosing happiness like it's really hard.
Choosing happiness like, and not even choosing it, just acknowledging that it's like, I may not be able to be happy in all moments. Yeah. I may have moments where I feel that there's a darkness in me. Like Mr. Rogers said it, he's like, I get mad, you know, like it's the acknowledgement that that's there and holding space for it and loving yourself regardless and not making yourself feel ashamed for knowing that that is in you, but still being deliberate and intentional in not hurting other people just because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird one.
But
that's Riku.
That's Riku.
He's complicated.
He's the complicated to Sora is simple, but I love it. It's so good.
He's such a necessary ally to Sora and such a necessary component into the forces. And he gets to be strong in ways for Sora and in ways that Sora can't be strong. And so because of that, he needs to be there as they are friends and they are the power.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us yap about Riku for a bunch of time. Thanks for holding space for us to talk it out.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you listening to us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Do something nice for yourself tonight. Yeah. Whatever that is, like, do something nice for your little darkness friend.
Yeah. Acknowledge that the darkness within you, it needs love, isn't the worst part of you, and in fact is a thing you can use to better the world in spite of it.
Yeah.
That is what I think we should be taking away from Riku for sure.
I completely agree.
Thank you for listening. We have been Simple and Clean, a Kingdom Hearts podcast. If you like what you're listening to, show us some love on the internet.
Please.
We really want to hear from you. We're a bunch of episodes into this now, and it's feeling good, and we hope it's reaching some people.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, let us know, and we hope you keep listening.
And as always, may your heart be your guiding key.